Look, we've all dreamed of being that person who survives against impossible odds. Thanks to these mind-blowing VR games, now you can, without the whole dying part. If you love the eerie vibe of the original Into the Radius, you're in for a treat. Into the Radius 2 brings back the creepy Pachorsk anomaly with upgraded graphics and a new multiplayer mode. Now, up to 4 players can team up to explore its surreal, unsettling world. The weapon handling feels sharper, and scavenging is as intense as ever. But since the game is in early access, it's got its fair share of bugs and feels a bit light on content. Even so, the mix of realistic gunplay and supernatural horror makes it unforgettable. Imagine waking up shipwrecked on a tropical island. Your goal? Survive. In Bootstrap Island, you'll be starting fires, hunting for food, and dealing with the dark secrets hiding in the shadows. And yes, you'll also be loading a flintlock pistol the old-school way, powder, ball, and all. Right now, the game is still pretty bare bones since it's in early access, but it's got a lot of potential, and for anyone who loves island survival games, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. From the creators of Paradox of Hope comes CONVRGENCE, a VR survival game set in the dangerous Chernobyl anomaly zone. The core gameplay, raiding, looting, and making it out alive is solid, and it even has one of the best VR pets you'll ever meet, your trusty dog. That said, the pet's calming presence makes the game a little less scary than it could be, and the combat could use some work. But with regular updates and a committed developer, this early access title is shaping up to be a great survival game for fans of extraction shooters. Ever wanted to experience Stalker in VR? ZONA Origin is the closest you'll get. Set in the post-apocalyptic Chernobyl exclusion zone, it's all about scavenging for resources, exploring creepy locations, and surviving intense firefights. The VR mechanics feel super immersive. You'll physically manage your backpack and even toss bolts to detect deadly anomalies. Sure, the graphics are a bit dated, and some areas feel empty, but the game's atmosphere and player choices make it a fantastic experience for fans of survival games. Looking for variety? All in one adventure, VR throws a bit of everything at you. You'll be climbing cliffs, exploring underwater caves, fighting zombies, and dodging deadly traps in a sprawling dungeon. The campaign is pretty short, with only 4 dungeons, but the mix of mechanics keeps things fresh. Plus, it's optimized for Quest and Pico headsets, making it an excellent pick for solo players looking for some VR excitement. Death Horizon Cyberfusion has a cool idea, physics-based combat with cybernetic upgrades. Unfortunately, the execution doesn't quite hit the mark. The combat feels clunky, the levels are repetitive, and the enemies aren't particularly smart. While there are some fun physics interactions, the game lacks depth and polish even after its full release. If you're after a cyberpunk survival experience, this one might not scratch the itch. If you've ever wanted to face off against xenomorphs in VR, Alien Rogue Incursion is the game for you. You play as Zula Hendricks, an ex-Marine navigating the dark corridors of a research facility while searching for a missing squadmate. The motion tracker's ominous beeps, the tense stealth moments, and the terrifying hunts from xenomorphs make this a heart-pounding experience. The VR mechanics, like handling weapons and sneaking past enemies, are top-notch. With a gripping 8-hour campaign, this is a must-play for any Alien or VR horror fan. Inspired by Rust, Strayed takes hardcore multiplayer survival to VR. You'll drop onto a procedurally generated island with 100 other players, starting with nothing but a rock and a torch. From there, it's all about scavenging, crafting, and surviving both the elements and other players. It's still in early access and has its flaws, but the potential here is huge. If you're into PvP survival games and want something more immersive, this could be the VR game for you. MADiSON VR is the kind of game that makes your skin crawl. You play as Luca, waking up in a creepy, blood-soaked house with an instant camera as your only tool. You'll snap and develop photos to uncover supernatural horrors, and trust me, they get way too close for comfort. The 7-hour campaign is packed with scares, and the haptic feedback and 3D audio make the experience feel disturbingly real. The controls can be a bit slow, but if you're looking for a game that'll leave you trembling, this is it. Just a heads up, it features graphic violence and themes of self-harm, so it's not for everyone. Last Chance, The Survivor VR is a heartfelt survival story about Gabriel, a scientist-turned-father desperately searching for his daughter in a zombie apocalypse. The VR mechanics feel natural and immersive, and the graphics are stunning. While the story mode is still in development, the current high-score survival mode offers plenty of intense zombie-slaying action with a variety of enemy types to keep things interesting. The emotional stakes combined with the dynamic audio make this one to watch. Which one are you most excited to try? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more VR gaming recommendations.